Welcome to The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
Join us as we explore the prize inside, looking at holistic health and extraordinary human potential.
Hi there.
Hi there.
The Prize Inside, a podcast dedicated to holistic living and unlocking your human potential.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a great Wednesday. It's kind of hilariously in Michigan, it went from like minus whatever, like let's say minus 10 to like 30. So we're thinking we're in, that's a big difference. That's like 40 degrees difference. So it feels like summer out there. Still got the snow, everything else, but it's getting there. You can see the writing on the wall and you can start thinking of the gardening ideas. Hilarious thing today. Rachel so Dr. Matt in our office he told us that he really, really likes it. If you guys haven't seen this thing, it is a snowblower on it's like a snowblower broom. Let me show you. I'll see if I can find it on YouTube. It's pretty cool. Snowblower. Blower on a broom. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me see if this is it. So I'll share it to this thing's cool. Okay, so let me share this real quick. This is pretty cool. So for those in my podcast, it's called they call it a snowblower broom. And it looks cool. And so
visualize yourself at the end of the year. Where do you want to be? So this is
I'm just going to show you this. So it's real quick. It's this cool thing that like moves the snow off of these different like sidewalks and like easy stuff, like the things that are actually, something that it's a great idea. And it has lots of other like attachments. So I thought that was really cool. This one's just one. I don't think we got this one. I think we got the one with a cord just because it has a little more power. But like for sidewalks and all these things, very simple. It wasn't expensive. And I'm like, oh my God, that looks so much better than shoveling. So I wanted to show you that because I thought that was cool. Rachel went and got it right away. And I wanted, and it's a pretty cool, looks like it'll be a pretty cool tool for sidewalks and all that. Maybe not for a full driveway, unless your driveway is kind of tinier. It might work though. So that was pretty cool. I want to apologize up front. Something happened. There was like a glitch in the streaming piece. So I'm not sure if I'll be live to a lot of places tonight. But I really do it because I love the podcasting aspect. So the video is just kind of a bonus. That's what I try to say all the time. But I know it's on Rumble and that's where you can go. Just remember, you can go to, like if you want to follow and track any recordings. Tonight is all about what we call Whole Health Weekly. We go through the weekly trends of health and longevity that are out on different social media platforms, taking it from a holistic perspective, this innate intelligence view, like the body has its ability to heal itself. Like, how do we do that? Right. And so, and then the more knowledge we get based on this kind of thing, right, the better off we do, right? And so the more knowledge we have in understanding and discerning, because we're constantly in our face than the latest and greatest. Okay. And one of the things in health that's going to be hard is consistency. It's going to be one of the toughest things we ever do, is because consistency is going to be challenged all the time. What if I'm not doing it correctly? What if I'm not giving it time? Or I've given it too much time. It's going to be worse if you wait too long. Those kind of things. And that consistency, is going to be the key to understanding. And the only way you can do that is set back and not let your brain go to places it doesn't need to. And with the help of social media, they try to push your brain over the top. So that is the goal. And I've known that for a long time. Fear, walking in a wheel, you're going to be in a wheelchair, blah, blah, blah. Those kind of narratives lead us to some choices we might not want to make. So that's the biggest thing. So in Whole Health Weekly, we go over some trends, see how it goes. I found a really cool article from Dr. Mercola that kind of highlights some really good stuff. So I want to make sure we get into that. But first, before we start Whole Health Weekly, we always start with a quote, a chiropractic one. And today's kind of resonates with a couple of my patients that I had today, or this week anyway. If you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream. I thought that was pretty good. Had a super proud patient moment. They came in prior, so they had a really bad low back issue, caused sciatic nerve pain, all these things. We got through all that, took a lot of visits, all those kind of things. It took a while because it was a pretty severe injury. Once they got better, they were feeling amazing for a long time. They just fall, it like happens with everything. You just fall off the wagon as far as getting adjusted and doing those kind of things. Well, then it was like 6 months later, they felt the tweak, right? They felt something tweaking. And instead of waiting, they came in right away. And they're like, hey, this thing doesn't feel right. I've been feeling really good. And there's just something not right. And I was like, that's the key, that self-awareness ability to understand what's going on. I kind of think of it as like our body, you want to treat it like you're that car guy that can listen to the car and know like what's going on in there, right? And so that is one of the most beautiful things about learning this way of the human body, because our body will tell us all these things. We just have to listen and not punch through all that stuff, right? So just remember that as we go. I always thought that was a good quote. I'll say it one more time. If you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream. All right. So with that said, let's get moving into the trends of the week. So this is using kind of like an AI situation where it goes through all the trends, like TikTok, Facebook, like all of those things. What's online that's like getting people's attention? And is it all for naught, or is it, something that is valuable to us and we should take a look even deeper? Okay. Let's do, and I apologize, I don't know. Little Rosie is doing a little whining back there. I think she's waiting for her buddy, who my dog, Olive, loves the snow. Only when it's a certain temperature, but she loves just the feel of the snow. So she gets out there and she likes hanging out quite a bit. And so then our little Rosie hates the snow. So she sits and whines until Olive gets back in here. I wish I could lift up Olive. One of these times on these videos, I'll get her on here. Rosie's pretty easy, but I'll get all the dogs on here. I might get better viewership, probably. I've seen myself. I'm just kidding. Okay. So the first one is it's called AWE. Okay. So AWE, AWE walks for mental health. AWE walks Our intentional walks in nature to evoke wonder and boost mood are trending big on platforms like Instagram and in wellness articles. People are sharing how daily off focus strolls help combat dreary weather, reduce stress, improve mindset. One experiment highlighted trying them every day for a week with noticeable mental clarity gains. So just getting out into nature always will be a thing. And walking is just so critical, especially in the colder months. Um, I'm going through a lot with patients now because it got cold and it made us just not want to go outside. It's that fight. It's tough on your human body too. So even regardless if it's really cold out, we should make a move to get outside a little bit because of homeostasis, right? Homeostasis is the process of sorry, is the process of our body being able to regulate different environments all the time. And it tries to keep us balanced throughout all those environments. But if we don't challenge those environments, then our body isn't used to regulating it, throwing our homeostasis out of whack. Okay. And so by not challenging it in the cold, not challenging it in the heat, you have this issue of that regulation starts to wane, right? And then things will happen where the body can't respond as well as it should. Rosie, what you doing? Want to come up here? Come here. I'm going to show you Rosie. Since it's my... Let me get you. Come here. Well, she doesn't like getting picked up, so I tried. She likes playing like crazy, but now she's going to be mad at me for a little bit, but she keeps whining. And it's hilarious. She looks like a little Ewok, like a little tiny Ewok. So one of these days I'll get her on video, I swear. But so anyway, so think of homeostasis when we're going out and doing these nature walks and just enjoy that beautiful stuff. Rachel went snowshoeing the other day and she's been doing it like every other day, just putting some snowshoes on and getting out there. Right. She did it. It was so beautiful. And once you get going, you're going to go a lot further than you think you'll go just because based on, if you get out there and it starts going. My brother and I, we've done a few of these. There's winter adventure racing. So it's where you hike, like in the winter, these adventure races are, so basically you're taking a compass and a map. And then you're trying to hit these points in the woods. Let's say there's like 30 points in the woods. They hide these points and you use the compass and a map to guide you to these points. And you're in a race basically. And so I've done quite a few in the winter time because once you get out in it, no matter what temperature it is, -2, all those things, once you start going, your thermoregulation of your body takes over. And you almost don't feel any of that cold, right? And it's a little different in the hot stuff because it's harder to actually get cooler, But in the winter, you can actually get yourself like sweating pretty good. So remember that on hikes in the wintertime. So many people don't do them, but super valuable. In fact, I'm almost thinking, because, our channel's so big and so huge that I think if we start, instead of a cold plunge in water where it's an extreme cold really quick and then you get out, why don't we do a cold walk? Like a no jacket, t-shirt only walk in the woods. It'd be pretty interesting. And I think you'd get more out of it, actually, because the body's regulation abilities would be phenomenal. So just remember that one. That's a pretty good trend for the week, I thought. Here's one that was interesting. Mouth taping. I have not heard this one. Okay. Mouth taping for better sleep breathing. Okay. So mouth tape with a breathing hole for safety. So it must be you tape your mouth shut. is taking over TikTok feeds as a simple hack for improved sleep, reduced snoring, and better oxygenation. It's framed as an easy addition to nighttime routines. Okay, so let's do something. I want to see what this is. This is, what do they call it? It's called, okay, let's look. Mouth taping for sleep. So it's popular in YouTube, I can see. All right. Let's pick. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. So let me share this.
Latest social media trend, taping your mouth shut to get a better night's sleep. But some doctors are sounding the alarm.
It's the latest wellness craze.
You will have the best sleep of your entire life.
Putting tape on your mouth for a better night's sleep.
It works. I just tape it shut.
Oscar winner turned lifestyle guru Gwyneth Paltrow calls it the single best wellness tool I have found recently.
I'm obsessed with it.
32-year-old mom of 3, Lindsay Polidor, swears by it, saying it's a game changer.
When I sleep, my lips just gently separate, and my husband would make fun of me because I would breathe through my mouth. And so I learned about the benefits, how it can help improve sleep.
Doctors say there can be some positive effects of breathing through the nose instead of the mouth, including better sleep, lowering blood pressure, filtering out allergens, and decreasing anxiety. But ear, nose, and throat doctor Eric Voigt says anyone considering mouth taping should know the risks.
It could end up being an emergency situation. A lot of things happen in our sleep, including the need to perhaps take a deep breath or gasp. If we're building up carbon dioxide in our body, we need to expel that. That's why we yawn. That's why we will sometimes take a deep breath in. So you do not want to block your mouth.
But regardless of the risks, Lindsay says since taping her mouth shut, she's never slept so well.
I sleep a lot better and I stay asleep. I get a deeper sleep.
You put them over your mouth like this.
That was pretty cool. Okay. So I'm going to start doing that because some of these trends, it'd be better coming from, like news people. This goes back to, this is a very interesting concept. So you have a mouth taping. One of the reasons it works is it does something that we've talked about in videos before. Nasal breathing. Okay. So nasal breathing is the concept of, okay. So as you breathe in and out of your nostrils, your body is taking about a certain amount of oxygen in and getting rid of some CO2. That was the design. Okay. So the design of our bodies was to be more nasally breathers. Okay. We don't do that anymore. We're not sure if it's, if it's a situation, but a lot of times, if you get into the practice of learning how to nasal breathe, and I think I'll try to find it on my Rumble channel, but the last breathing one we did, the last breathing exercise video I did, if you go look on Rumble or YouTube, we go through it. We go through the process of like breathing in and out of your nose. My suggestion would be, I don't mind this trend. I absolutely don't mind this trend. I would suggest practicing breathing through your nose first so your body gets used to that. Because many of us, myself included, are almost like a mouth breather more than they use their nose. Okay. And I've been practicing a lot in like understanding how the nose moves air in and out. It's the best way to go. You have the most immune system cells going through your nasal cavity. And this is what I think. This is just a holistic thought process. This is what happens to you when you start thinking innately. Okay. So my theory is that if you get in the habit of breathing through your mouth, because there's not the immune system stuff to take out so there's immune system cells all through your nose and all through your mouth area, right? The mouth ones are for and designed for food particles. so that it's ready to take out the enemies of food particles, not necessarily the air. It probably does still do the air situation, but it's not as honed in as your nasal ones are for air. The mucus is there to trap these little bugs and dust and particles that go through. There's not much stopping your all those particles getting into your mouth though, right? Because it's a bigger hole, blah blah blah. But then in your nose, you have these little nose hairs, you have the mucus, you have all these things that all those different particles can get trapped in before they get up into your brain or your lungs and your sinuses and all that kind of stuff. The big thing that I think in holistic, when I see this, we should go into more nasally breathing. I think, and this is my theory, the more nasally we get in the breathing aspect, we start breathing through our nose more and more effectively, the better I think our sinuses would do in performing, because you would actually practice. I think we pass through, right? We don't use the sinuses as they should. We don't use that mucus as it should. And then once we don't do that, what happens is it doesn't have that practice. It doesn't have like what we talked about. We don't have that homeostasis. It's like we're sitting in 70-degree temperatures all the time. And then our immune system has to react when we're not in that 70 degrees, right? So that's kind of the same thing as that situation. And I bet you that not only would it be better sleep, it's a better practice because our body wants to practice getting the good oxygen in and getting that CO2 out of your system. So I think this could be a really good thing, but like you said, you don't want to like tape it shut with duct tape, like something crazy, right? We want to start slow though. And if you would do that as a trend, then you practice it. You practice nasal breathing before you do the mouth taping. So I thought that was kind of cool. So, and one reason I do this talk is this kind of stuff, right? Like I never saw that. And then it made it onto Inside Edition, which is crazy. Okay. The next one online is the fiber-focused eating. Okay. UK brands and influencers are pushing fiber maxing. Oh, wow. Interesting. Ramping up to 30 grams of fiber daily via Whole Foods. Since most people fall way short, it's tied to gut health, satiety, which is hunger, right? And overall wellness goals for the year. I would agree with this because a lot of times when you have fiber-rich foods, they're all really, really good for you typically. And fiber is what allows your gut bacteria to really take off. You got to remember in gut bacteria world, they are a microorganism. So that microorganism needs food to survive. And if it's not there, then they end up dying, right? So that's why there's kind of I love ketogenic. I think it's fantastic, but I know there's a place for fiber, right? So not having any greens or good vegetables with good fiber content can hurt you eventually if your gut bacteria is off. And that's why a lot of people struggle with these different ones. Let's say you have ketogenic diet and you don't feel good, right? It's because your gut bacteria is messed up. You need to see Jeremy for the gut protocol that we do. But at the same time, you also need to be taking that fiber and to make sure that your good gut bacteria has food so it doesn't pass away suddenly. It's kind of like not fertilizing your garden after you go or after you plant your seeds and stuff, right? So you want to make sure it's good soil, you want to do that. And so fiber maxing could be a good thing. I would say, just like everything, do it in chunks. Maybe you do ketogenic where ketogenics, if you haven't heard me say this before, it's more the protein and fat style, like Atkins type. I recommend it a lot to get rid of a lot of the ultra processed stuff that we eat, right? And so if we can get rid of that stuff, it's a really good detox that way. But for a long time, because people can lose a lot of weight on the Atkins style ketogenic, the problem is health wise, if we're not eating fiber, we're not letting our gut bacteria get good. So therefore, we're not as healthy as we should. And that's what is one of the keys to health, is to make sure you have all the things that your body needs. Okay. So fiber maxing, that was kind of interesting one. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, there's some viral trends on. Oh, so here's a natural remedy one. Some of these are dumb. Microwaving toys. I didn't know that. I don't know what that is about. I don't know. That one doesn't have a good explanation of what they're talking about, so I'm going to leave that. So the other one, there's a natural remedy one, onion juice for hair growth. Okay. Ginger tea, it could be a thing. I don't know if I've seen that, but I mean, onions have a ton of medicinal properties, so there could be something there, right? Ginger tea for colds, I can guarantee that one. That one's a good trend. Ginger tea is fantastic, anti-inflammatory, but so many other things. If it's an anti-inflammatory, a lot of times it helps process and is really good for the immune system. Turmeric honey masks for skin. That kind of makes sense. It really does. I've never heard that one. I'll have to tell Rachel about it and the girls. They might like trying that actually. Turmeric is this nice anti-inflammatory, like good medicinal properties. So I wouldn't think it would hurt you. And interesting, raw. This one's see, this is why I like doing the trendy part. Raw garlic for testosterone. Interesting. So once you see these different viral hits, this is what hits you on a day-to-day basis, though, right? You don't know if any of that stuff's any good, right? And it sounds good in theory, but precaution. Don't spend $200 on something that they say is the next best thing. We don't know, right? So think of the thing through. Garlic for testosterone, to me, it would be one of those things. I'm not sure. I would have to see the chemical composition of why that would be a thing. Garlic's a friggin' great, like an immune system strengthening situation, right? Really good for antimicrobial, antibacterial, has great properties for that. Speaking of garlic, is one that I push, like if somebody's going in for surgery, a lot of times I'll tell them, hey, take 2 weeks of garlic before you, because of how good it's antimicrobial, antibacterial, like all of those things, get your body ready just in case something happens in surgery, like one of those infections or, those kind of things. Speaking of that should be a trend we should start. Like we'll start it tonight, baby. Start it right tonight. Take good antibacterial, antimicrobial herbs like a garlic, like, oh, now I can't think of good ones. Of course I can't. There's antimicrobials, antibacterials. Let me look at my cheat sheet. What is the best one? If you're going through and you need to have some kind of situation of oh, come on. Oh, baby. Oh, that's not what I want. Dang it. Okay. If you want to, like if you have a like a procedure coming up, right? Oh, come on. Where's my stuff? Oh man. This is the hard part when you use. Oh, come on. Oh, shoot. Darn it. Okay. It locked me in weird. Okay, I might have to. Darn it. Okay. Log in. I'm going to log out. Sorry, guys. I use this really cool website. It was fantastic. There we go. Okay. But like all websites, some things come to a... I don't know if this one's going to last very long. As far as... I don't know. Well, anyway. All right. I'll find you some good... Just look up Google. So basically Google's what... antimicrobial, antibacterial type herbs out there. Garlic is one of my favorites. Ginger, turmeric, all of them have it. I just can't remember my favorite one of all time. You know, there's mullein. There's all kinds of really good ones. But these are things like if you know you're having a surgery or a procedure or those kind of things, set your body up and eating clean and all those things for that situation where you're not going to have to worry about like those after infections after, you know, a surgery or something like that. So that one. I'm sorry. My dog is whining. Oh, she's driving me crazy. Okay. So our last thing is now let's talk about Dr. Mercola's stuff. So he had some really good articles. I want to bring this one up. Okay. So this one's a good one. This is off of Dr. Mercola's website. But let's walk through this one. Your sleep pattern may be aging you. Oh, give me my article. Your sleep. Where'd it go? Hang on. Okay. Your sleep pattern may be aging you faster than you think. Okay. So let's look at this. Okay, so the article is by this is analysis by Dr. Mercola. Insufficient sleep strongly predicts shorter life expectancy. Sleeping fewer than 7 hours per night is strongly linked to a shorter lifespan, even when factors like diet, exercise, income, and access to healthcare are taken into account. Large-scale U.S. data shows sleep loss predicts reduced life expectancy more reliably than many habits people focus on daily, including physical inactivity and obesity. Chronic short sleep keeps your heart, immune system, and brain under constant strain, preventing the nightly repair work your body relies on to stay resilient over time. Sleep pressure builds when your cells fail to produce energy efficiently, leading to toxic byproducts that force your brain into deeper fatigue and stronger sleep demand. Improving sleep is one of the most practical and controllable ways to support long-term health directly to change in light exposure environment and daily timing. That's a great article in the sense of understanding the important role of sleep and one of the things you can do for your own health over time. Pardon me for 1 second. I'm going to try to grab this dog so you guys can all see her. Okay. Here's Rosie. I don't know why. This is Rosie. Say hello, everyone. Hi, Rosie. I think there's parts of my house that if I shut these two doors, it goes directly into our living room. For some reason, she doesn't know, or she's whining or something, that you can just go around on the other side and she won't do it. But this is Rosie, everyone. She's about the cutest thing ever. She's usually sleeping at this time. So that is the funniest part. I think she got a little excited for her buddies. They were hanging out outside quite a bit. So anyway, sorry about that. So that was Dr. Mercola's sleep. Just remember, though, sleep is critical. But think in your head, get one thing fixed at a time, right? Like in health, We don't need to fix everything today, but maybe that one thing, getting a good night's sleep every single night, could change your game, right? And maybe the mouth taping thing, I don't know. Like, look it up, research it, make sure there's air passage in your mouth situation. I think that could help. I think so. All right, so let's go on to our next one. Ooh, I like this. Let's go into this. Okay, so let's do this one. Berberine. Berberine's a really good herb that we've talked about in the past. And just in weight loss, berberine, really good thing for diabetics. More than that, though, it helps balance a lot of the hormones related to digestion. So, berberine and diabetes, how it works, what the studies show, and safe dosing. This is by Dr. Joseph Mercola. Okay. So, here's this is a 2022 study. Meta-analysis of 37 randomized trials found that berberine lowered glycolated hemoglobin by 0.63%. And fasting glucose by 0.82% or 0.82 millimoles with consistent results across diverse patient groups. Earlier researchers are also highlighted how berberine lowers blood sugar and harmful blood fats while reducing liver fat and markers linked to kidney damage. Berberine limits fat cell development and dampens inflammation as well, effects that may support weight control and improved insulin sensitivity. That's where I know it as, is berberine is really good at balancing the digestive system. A lot of people have heard like there's a lot of fatty liver going around and getting younger and younger as it's getting diagnosed, or we're getting better seeing it. But when you get that fatty liver, the liver is the detox. It's the car wash of the human body. And when you have that and it's not working properly, that's when you can start having insulin problems pretty heavy. Okay. So in a 13-week randomized study, researchers showed that berberine's blood sugar lowering abilities are on par with the effects of diabetes drug metformin. That's wild. That's really good, because metformin can have some significant side effects for some people. And so maybe berberine could be a good answer. Clinical studies support that taking 500 milligrams of berberine with meals up to 3 times a day, starting with lower doses and increasing as you go to get up to 500 visually. However, there are safety precautions to keep in mind. So just remember, you want to take it as you go because it's a very powerful herb. That's one reason you come talk to a doc before you start this process, especially if there's like diabetes drugs involved. Okay. Berberine's had a legacy that spanned over 2,200 years. It's a bitter golden. Remember, there's like the curcumin situation, and it has an amazing ability because of that orange tinge compound, the curcumin inside. It has been a cornerstone of traditional Chinese medicine, initially 1988, when a diabetic patient given berberine to treat diarrhea experienced improved blood sugar control. That's pretty awesome. That's really, really good. So it also it increases sugar uptake into the cells, which is what you want. You want your cells to take that sugar in, promotes fat burning over fat storage, which is really, really what you want to do. Reduce glucose production in the liver, and it lowers inflammation and oxidative stress. So that is amazing. So just remember, berberine in the 500 milligrams a day. you can get more out of it if your gut bacteria is correct. That's one reason why it doesn't work for some, because if your gut bacteria is a mess, it's hard for these herbs to do their role. I'm going to pause for just a second because this dog is driving me a little batty. So I will be right back. She could not figure out that door. That is the funniest thing. She just kept whining and whining. She wanted to lay on Rachel's lap. That's what was happening. But she didn't understand why this door was shut. And then there's like a window in the door. So she could see Rachel. Rachel wasn't coming because right. So the life of puppies. It was very interesting. So anyway, so berberine, remember that we've had, if you go look, we've done an actual video on that as well. Getting really into the nitty gritty of what berberine is. So if you're interested in something like that, go to the Prize Inside on Rumble or the Prize Inside the Chiropractor Journey on YouTube, or just get on our podcast as well. It's on Spotify, all those things, and just look up the show and it'll be right there for you. That's why I love this stuff. It comes back into fruition. Berberine is going to be a big trendy thing coming up very, very soon. All right. Let me look at this article. Ooh, I love this article. Okay. This is fantastic because it goes down our pathway. Okay. This one is it's a very big medicine article, but as a holistic person, if you're watching and listening and been watching a long time, this study will make sense. Okay. So study 5, and I believe this number is a little bit, could be bigger than this. We're just maybe not wanting to say it. Okay. So this article says, the article title is the study finds nearly 40% of cancers are actually preventable. So that means nearly 4 in 10 cancer cases worldwide may be preventable, according to a massive new analysis published in Nature Medicine. Researchers reviewed cancer data across 185 countries and found that in 2022 alone, about 7.1 million cancer diagnoses were tied to modifiable risk factors, meaning everyday exposures and habits that can be changed. The takeaway is very blunt. Cancer isn't always, in many cases, it's that quietly accumulate for years. That's why you guys are here tonight, right? That's why you come on Sunday. It's to understand these things, and it's the little things. It's the everyday stuff, right? The biggest drivers weren't surprising, but the scale is. Tobacco smoking was the leader contributor to preventable cancer cases globally, followed by infections and alcohol use. In fact, smoking alone accounted for about 15% of those, while infections made up about 10%. Alcohol contributed about 3%. Lung, stomach, and cervical cancers made up nearly half of all preventable cancer cases, reinforcing that many people will still underestimate the body doesn't reset after years of exposure. It adapts, breaks down, and eventually pays the price. This is why that's about that article. Now, the reason I want to bring that up, one of the things that you can do, if you're a holistic person, right, and you start thinking this innate mindset, make sure the things that you place in your body have some kind of benefit to them, right? So I heard one guy talk, oh man, I have a few. Oh, I didn't tell you guys. Like, I got some interviews coming up. It's going to be fantastic. I got some that you guys will love, absolutely love, enjoy. So hopefully we'll get a couple of them. I got Mary. We're trying to line up a good time to do it. So we're going to figure out a good time. She's in Arizona right now, so I'm going to give her a few weeks before we do that because she's traveling all over. And then I have another lady that does her own flower. So she's super nervous. So we're walking through that. I have some great ideas on some other people that I'd like to get on here as well. Just to talk that holistic mindset. One of the guys that I love listening to, his name's, I want to say it's Dr. Mark Hyman. Mark Hyman is a naturopathic type doctor, but really well renowned for his books and professorships and all those kind of things. One of the things that he talks about, and I really like this concept, is we eat calories, but we don't tell if it's a good calorie, like a high quality calorie. So every calorie we put in our body that we want for energy, we want a high quality one, right? We don't have this lower quality calories. We want the best. And that matters, right? What I'm trying to add in the herbal is not only high quality calories, but ones that you actually understand that it could do an effect. So, for instance, let's say for a kid, you had asthma related things. Okay. So you had asthma all the time, can't run anymore because you got this asthma still. Even if you still have the asthma, why wouldn't you put in your daily routine something with cranberries? Cranberries are good for the lungs, right? Something with some kind of anti-inflammatory for the lungs, right? Things like that. You had, your grandma had rheumatoid arthritis and you're afraid that that's going to happen. Why aren't you on turmeric and ginger? Even though you don't have the rheumatoid or whatever, why not set your body up and prepare to give it the best chance against a lot of those things, right? And that's kind of my ultimate goal for my holistic people is live this life that you don't have to think about those things, right? Berberine. Let's say my family has a giant weight problem. Berberine might be perfect because it kind of satiates the appetite. It balances out the liver. It helps with blood sugars. Why not try that one? Especially if you're like, man, I'm on the struggle bus weighing, like I gain weight, I lose weight, I gain weight, I lose weight. Those are the kind of things. Especially with berberine is the patient factor. You must do it, over time, and you're going to see that result. But why wait until it's a problem? Like we said, let's start taking care of the body when it's whispering so you don't have to hear it scream, just like that quote said. And that's what holistic living is really all about. And if you can keep doing that and keep having that mindset of doing little things here and there, you know what I mean? Then we start living a different way, right? We'll probably do one more article tonight, I think. All right. Let me look. Let me find it. Oh, man. Oh, there it is. Okay. Da-da-da. Okay. Oh, I like this one. This one's really good for my athletes. So remember this article. Okay. So, and this is a big deal because we don't notice it until later, but it's super important for my athletes. So this is an athlete one, especially, and if you're starting a workout routine, whatever. Vitamin D and magnesium support athletic performance and recovery. This is by Dr. Joseph Mercola. Okay. Vitamin D and magnesium work together to regulate muscle contraction, energy production, bone strength and recovery, forming a nutrient pairing that determines how effectively your body responds to the training. Research consisting of professional and Olympic sports show widespread vitamin D and magnesium deficiency raises injury risk, slows recovery, and weakens strength and reduces endurance through impaired calcium and ATP function. ATP is your energy molecule. It kind of builds up and then you break it down and all those kind of things. Magnesium deficiency often hides behind more normal blood tests, disrupts cellular energy production, worsens fatigue and cramps, and increases soreness, especially in endurance athletes training hard or in hot environments. And because magnesium gets leached pretty good in the sweat aspect of things, endurance exercise increases magnesium's need, right, by shifting the mineral into working muscles and increasing losses through sweat and urine. Supplementing magnesium and vitamin D together, right, with K2, right? So we're going to do all three of those, improves strength, endurance, and recovery and soreness within weeks, particularly in athletes starting deficient or training at high volume intensity, workout intensity. So that's pretty cool. So as you're going, remember vitamin D and magnesium as something that you're going to take as a recovery too, right? So it's not just about the immune system, right? So the vitamin D, there's so many things. Remember, vitamin D is not a vitamin. It's a hormone. Okay. So vitamin D is not a vitamin. It is a hormone. And the hormone, but it's activated through the body, through the sun, right? And having it present and available. Okay. So vitamin D supplementation is pretty critical. Magnesium, there's a certain amount our body needs, right? But it gets leached a ton, either through bad diet, through all of these things. Different medications can knock it out of whack. You have a lot of different things. So because you sweat it out and you urinate it out quite a bit, magnesium is one of those things. I don't know if I've ever put that out there for you guys, but I think so. Restless leg was a huge problem. It's starting to become not as big a problem because we figured out it's a magnesium at night situation. People run out of magnesium. And so sometimes they would find, I just put magnesium cream on and it gets better, whatever the situation. So vitamin D and magnesium to my workout people will be worth your time, worth your weight in gold, absolute gold. So remember that if you got an athlete in your life or you are an athlete, start looking at vitamin D and magnesium because you need to be supplementing what you're doing. One of my biggest gripes right now with high school athletics is that we're not doing those things. Right? We're just, okay, this is our calorie count. So we don't do high quality calories, number one. Number two is we're not supplementing like getting the right vitamins in. And so we're having significant breakdowns in kids because they're so active, right? So we got to remember some of these kids are 6 a.m. They're getting to school. They don't get home till 6, 7, 8 at night, right? A lot of those kind of situations call for a really, really strict, high calorie, high quality calorie, and good nutritional supplementation. I was lucky because both my kids are really, really good at, taking different, vitamins, supplements, all those kind of things. They've always been good. My oldest college kid, not as much anymore. I got to get her some more stuff. So I'm just keep sending it with her and she will take it. It's just, you as a college kid, none of us took what we're supposed to, but yeah, making sure you get the vitamins that your cells need is super vital. Right. And that's what, one of the things that we should do for all our athletes, making sure that their vitamin, their whole complex is just ready to go. Okay. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight. I know it was a little weird early. I don't even know if it's streamed. Hopefully the podcast will come through. Don't forget to our email newsletter is called tribe1.substack.com. We're starting to add a few little nuggets and doses of things. That newsletter so that you can have that if you'd like to do some reading and those kind of things. It's also going to be the place when the weather starts breaking. We're going to do an anti-inflammatory talk, like a whole day of it, and I'd love to have as many people as I can in there. And I'm pretty pumped about doing it. I want to do different talks like that to get us to that next level. Really thinking about doing a nature walk. I'm looking up some things that I think would change the game on it. It would be pretty cool. So, with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy your night. Enjoy this 30, maybe it's like 20 degrees out there now. It's not -10, so that's really good. And enjoy your weekend. I hope you guys all have a blessed time. I'm glad you got to see Rosie there. And we'll see you Sunday forward. I believe it's going to be a motivational weekend. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully I'll have an interview lined up for that. All right. You guys take care. Have a great night.